What is going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of Hood Tales, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. If you're new to the fam, welcome. Be sure to subscribe. Hit that notification bell for future uploads. Let's get right into the story. Social media and flexing. It goes hand in hand. Posting money, cars, jewelry, it's a way to attract attention, followers, and nowadays in the world we live in, it might even bring you some money if you are selling something or pushing a brand. It could be a gift and a curse, something you could become successful of, or something that could bring you down, because you just never know who is watching you and the way you move, the things you got, and thanks to themselves, I need that, and I'm going to take that from that person who is flashing it. I think we are in a time and age everyone wants to shine, drive nice whips, go to nice restaurants, and broadcast their success. And every move to people they don't even know or people who really don't care. It becomes second nature or an addiction, flexing on everyone. But we sometimes forget it's wolves out here and people that don't have nothing to their name but a blick and will watch you, plot, and come for what you got. Rest in peace to PNB Rock. A similar situation just took place with the 30-year-old rapper who lost his life in LA because he was shining too hard in the trenches. But today's episode of Hood Tales is not just about social media. It's about what people are willing to do to portray an image, even taking a life or throwing theirs away. We will take it to Winter Haven, Florida to discuss a case of 3 young men that wanted to be rappers and went to the extreme for their image. According to sources, 3 young men were trying to form a rap group. They were at the time, in 2016, 18-year-old Joseph Brandon, who went by the name Wax, 21-year-old Jonathan Felix, who went by the name Killer, and 20-year-old Dylan Kendrick, who went by the name DK. The group, just like any other up-and-coming rappers, were trying to find a lane and image so they could get a fan base. Dropping a few videos, they would eventually get a break when they were asked to come to perform at a Tampa nightclub called Club Sky at the Sky's The Limit show that the club was hosting. The only problem was they all was broke and felt like to do a concert and to be around other rappers, they needed some cash to flash. The 3 young men were driving around Winter Haven on May 11th, 2016, when allegedly Dylan told the other 2, "I got an easy lick for us." A young 21-year-old man named Tyler Macklin. Dylan told them he grew up with Tyler and bought grass from the man from time to time. He also followed Tyler on social media and said he saw the young man posting about some money and other things. Dylan told them Tyler wouldn't fight back. Allegedly, the 3 would put the move in motion, feeling like it was an easy target. Plus, they needed money fast since the concert was the next day. The 3 were in Dylan's girlfriend's blue Honda Civic, where allegedly Joseph had a blick on him. They headed to Tyler's house, where the plan was to act like they were trying to cop some grass, up the blick, take the money and product, and go. It was suggested Dylan stay in the car as the driver since he knew Tyler personally, and Joseph and Jonathan go in the house to hit the lick. According to sources, as they pulled up, they parked the car in front of the neighbor's house. Joseph and Jonathan got out, ran up to the home, and allegedly kicked in the front door to find Tyler in the living room on the phone with a friend. A few minutes later, shots went off, and the 2 ran out, back to the car with $300, some grass, a wallet, and a blick. The 3 men headed out of the location, but Tyler's friend heard the whole situation on the other end of the phone and alerted police. About 11:05 p.m., May 11th, 2016, local police arrived at 1244 Tangerine Parkway Northeast to find 21-year-old Tyler Macklin fatally shot. After talking to the friend that was on the phone with Tyler at the time, he stated he heard a boom from the door being kicked in, commotion, with someone telling Tyler to sit on the couch. He heard Tyler pleading with them. You don't have to do this. Take whatever you want. I got $300 right here, before a gunshot went off and the line went dead. Tyler's friend told police after that he armed himself with a knife and bat, drove to Tyler's home to find him laying on the floor before calling police. So now authorities had a motive for the situation. Back with the other three, the rap group made it to the concert and was filmed on stage, allegedly flashing money and posting on social media, posting the same cash they allegedly took from Tyler. Someone stating, "My performance was lit." But as the hit on Tyler made it to the news outlets and the community, allegedly the pressure was too much for Dylan, and he went to local police and told everything, from the plan, how it went down, and that one of the men had a gun. Dylan stated it was supposed to be an easy lick, but he didn't know Tyler would lose his life. With that information, police placed Dylan under arrest and went to pick up Joseph and Jonathan. The three were charged with armed robbery, conspiracy to commit robbery, first-degree murder, and firearm violations. After the arrest, Tyler's family and friends responded, including his mother, who told the news Tyler had just won some money from the lottery and made a post about buying things and paying some stuff off, and she felt as though that's why he was targeted. As the case made it to trial, Dylan testified about the whole situation, who had the blick, what clothes they had on, pulling up at Tyler's house, the shooting, and what they did earlier that day before the situation, including going to a Publix ATM, in which the surveillance footage was showed in court. Tyler's neighbors also testified about the car and men running back after hearing a pop. Also, Tyler's friend, who was on the phone as it happened and found his body. With all this information, the prosecutors told the jury Tyler lost his life for flash cash or show-off money. After just 5 hours, the jury returned the verdict for Joseph Brandon and Jonathan Felix, guilty on all charges. Jonathan was sentenced to life in prison. Joseph, at first, jurors came back with a mistrial, but after Dylan's testimony, it sealed his fate. He was also sentenced to life in prison. As his sister ran out the courtroom crying, he allegedly winked at Tyler's friend, who testified. As for Dylan, the first-degree murder was dropped, leaving him facing just robbery and conspiracy after cooperating and taking a stand. He was offered a plea deal of 25 years, but Tyler's family was not feeling that at all, stating Dylan set the whole thing up. The family of Tyler will also have to accept the plea. As of now, I wasn't able to find any information on if Dylan got the 25 years or any amount of time. Rest in peace to Tyler. I send my prayers and condolences to his family. More of this story, don't waste your life trying to flex and crash out for trying to keep up an image. It's clear Dylan never been in a situation like this before. He allegedly confessed to his pastor, who advised him to tell local police, and which he did. If you are out here breaking law, which I don't condone at all, you should definitely watch who in your circle. They threw their life away for $300, one fun night at a club, and to be considered rappers. So remember, we gotta succeed, not to fail, so we won't be just another hood tale. Man, it's a crazy story. Rest in peace to that young man. Rest in peace to Tyler. Like I said, I send my deepest prayers and condolences to his family. So, y'all heard the story. Dylan, he knew Tyler from back in the day. He copped from him from time to time. And, he was hanging with his homies. They thought they was rappers, or they was actually doing their thing. You feel me? They was actually, getting little concerts, getting booked or whatever. But they felt like they needed some bread. Not to spend, not to buy nothing. They just wanted some bread to hold up at the club and show they had bread, man. So they allegedly took this young man's life just for some show money, just for some flash money, man. But yeah, crazy situation. Y'all already know, man. This is another episode of Hood Tales. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. If you want to request a video, you can email me at tony2times.biz@gmail.com or just follow me on Instagram at _Tony2times. Y'all already know it's all love, fam. Let me know what y'all think about this one in the comments. I'm out.
What's up, YouTube fam? It's your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 times, and I'm back with another video. In this episode of Hood Tales, I'll be telling the story of a tragic and senseless slaying of India Mackey and the startling last moments of her life she captured on video. Before we get into this video, welcome if you're new here to our channel. Please feel free to subscribe. Click that notification bell to get notified every time we upload. If you're rocking with the content, smash that like button. Share this video with everyone you know. Make sure you watch until the end to hear the full story. All right, let's jump right into it. India Elise Mackey was born on November 18, 1999. She had beautiful brown eyes and a precious smile. Early on in her life, the Saginaw, Michigan native learned that her intelligence, along with hard work, would take her far in life. India believed in the Christian faith and attended church, where she was an active volunteer for church events and programs. She especially spent most of her time in the children and youth department. Not only was India active in church, she was also talented and enjoyed singing and acting. India graduated from Saginaw High School in 2017. The budding young woman was described as being full of life and love. India enjoyed hanging out and having girls' night with her sisters and friends. India was described as being the best sister to her siblings. She always looked out for them and was very supportive, making sure they had everything they needed. India was beautiful inside and out and would do her very best to bring the best out of others around her. She strived to help those close to her reach their full potential. And I'm sure that's how India was when it came to her romantic relationships as well. In 2018, India started to date a young man named Kevin Dixon. The couple had decided to eventually move in with each other, coming up on a year into their relationship. They moved into a home on Shirley Avenue in the Detroit suburb of Warren, Michigan. In November of 2019, a few months into the couple living together, India celebrated her 20th birthday on November 18th. Sadly, not even 24 hours after India's birthday, tragedy struck for India and her family. According to Fox 2 Detroit, on November 19, 2019, police received a report of a shooting in the area of 9 Mile and Gradiot and then pulled over a driver driving erratically. Police said the male driver was driving in a white van with a woman who had a gunshot wound. Officers weren't clear where the couple was heading. But after the vehicle was pulled over, they rushed the wounded woman to the hospital where she had passed away. Police said that it had stemmed from an argument the couple were having. The family of the woman identified her as 20-year-old India Mackey. Her boyfriend, 18-year-old Kevin Dixon, was arrested and held at the Warren jail while charges were pending. There was an outcry for justice in India's slaying. When Fox 2 asked India's father why would this 18-year-old want to take his daughter's life, he responded, selfishness. The devastated father said that he warned his daughter against seeing the young man. He said he didn't like his vibe. News reports said that Tuesday, November 19th, neighbors who described the couple as quiet said that when they were on their porch, they looked over and heard a guy say, "Where'd you get hit?" The neighbor then said he saw India, who was shot, get into the white van. Then the neighbor called 911. He said he saw the white van tear out of the driveway, beep the horn a couple times, and take off towards the Hayes area of Warren. It was the same white van officers pulled over that Kevin Dixon was driving, with India in the front seat wounded. India's dad said he told her he didn't like the young man and told his daughter Kevin wasn't the one for her. India's dad said he tried to protect her, but told news publications you can't protect your kids from who they interact with, which is sadly kind of true. There would be more chilling details in the case. A grisly video that was captured by India just moments before police believe she was slain by her boyfriend. While Kevin was facing charges in connection to India's slaying, authorities released the video, which I won't show in its entirety. According to reports, India Mackey pulled out her cell phone and began recording her boyfriend in the passenger seat with a blick in his lap, loading a clip and showing her the bullet as he was wiping it off and threatening to shoot her with it. In the footage, you can hear the man seated in the passenger seat saying, "You think I'm playing, huh? I'm gonna hit you with this hollow tip 45s," Kevin Dixon can be heard saying in the video. India can be heard simply replying, "Okay," according to the video. Officers then told news reports that Kevin Dixon allegedly made good on his promise and took her life. Prosecutors in the case told news reports after India was hit, Kevin Dixon allegedly moved her body from the driver's seat to the passenger seat and sped out of their driveway. After he was arrested, Kevin allegedly used India's phone to call his mother while he was in the backseat of the police car and asked her to help him get rid of the weapon that was used in the crime, prosecutors said. Imagine he used the same phone that India used to record her last moments. A vigil was held for India a few days after her slaying on November 22nd in Pontiac, Michigan. The turnout was tremendous, with so many people showing support for India and her family. India's passing in November of 2019 was the sixth domestic slaying in the community where she lived in just 2 months. India's family and community leaders urged anyone going through that kind of situation to reach out and ask for help and not try to handle it alone. According to news reports, Kevin Dixon's mother was arrested when she arrived at his arraignment following India's passing. The prosecutors charged her with accessory after the fact and tampering with evidence. She was held in jail on a $100,000 bail, according to records. During the same court appearance, Kevin Dixon asked the judge to release him, saying he was about to start a new job. The judge, of course, denied his request and denied his bail, saying that he was a flight risk and a threat to the community. As the pandemic approached, it halted the progression in the court proceedings. In October of 2020, Kevin Dixon's mother's bail was reduced to $25,000. She was released under supervision while she awaited her trial. Kevin Dixon had court dates set for December of 2020. At his December court date, he was arraigned on the first-degree charge as well as possession of a firearm in the commission of a crime, according to news reports. During the arraignment, detectives told the court that Kevin Dixon provided conflicting stories of how India Mackey's life ended. According to reports, he told detectives that India had shot herself at his home. Detectives said Kevin Dixon also told them he touched the trigger and the blick went off. The charges that Kevin Dixon faced carries a mandatory term of life without parole. 2 years went by before Kevin Dixon would accept a plea to second degree and a weapons charge in February of 2022. His sentencing date was set for April. His mother also accepted a plea on the same day as her son. She pleaded guilty to improper possession of a firearm and was sentenced to some type of probation and ordered to pay fines and court costs according to court records. On April 12, 2022, at Kevin Dixon's scheduled sentencing hearing, he requested to withdraw his plea because he said he was pressured to enter it, reports said. The hearing was adjourned when he failed to cooperate for the pre-sentence report because he wanted to withdraw the plea. Kevin Dixon said he was pressured into pleading by his family and attorney and was going through a lot of mental stress, news outlets reported. The assistant prosecutor in the case noted that during Kevin's jail phone calls, he made it clear to his family and to different women that he spoke to that he knew the basis of the plea, he knew the term and the time of the plea that was going to happen, and at no time did he indicate that he was being forced or threatened. According to news reports, the prosecutor said the defendant has shown no basis legally to withdraw the plea, and simply changing his mind at this time is not sufficient. The judge ultimately denied Kevin's request, noting she clearly asked the defendant on February 28th when he pleaded whether he was threatened, forced, or coerced. The sentencing was rescheduled to May 19th. According to court documents, on May 19, 2022, Kevin Dixon was sentenced to 18 to 35 years in prison for the second-degree charge. The first degree was dismissed. He was sentenced to 2 years for the weapons charge, which he was credited time served. He was also ordered to pay restitution to India's mother and ordered to comply with DNA testing if he had not already done so. Kevin Dixon will be spending a long time behind bars. India was described as being full of joy. She was the light in darkness. India was well loved. It's absolutely so tragic that she lost her life in such a senseless and cold-blooded way. She captured her last moments alive before the man she loved pulled the trigger. I can't imagine what could have been going through her mind at that point. The video is so hard to watch without giving me anxiety and causing me to tear up. It was so cold-blooded. Absolutely no regard for life. And this guy was supposed to be the man she loved. He was clearly unstable. And I hate that this beautiful young lady got caught up with someone so heartless and cruel. May India's memory continue to live on through her family and all the people she touched. My deepest and most heartfelt condolences to India's family and friends. I'm praying for their comfort and peace. I hope they receive the closure and justice they needed. Domestic disputes can escalate so quickly. If you feel for a split second your life is in danger, get out of there. Don't ignore threats or any other toxic behavior. That is not love. Y'all, please tell me what your thoughts are on this story in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. All right, fam, that's it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay safe out there, fam. This is your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 Times, and I'm out.
What's going on, YouTube, fam? This your boy Tony 2 Times, and we back with another episode of Hood Tales, man. Be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story. For all my day one subscribers, I definitely appreciate y'all. Welcome back to all the new subscribers. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell for future uploads. Let's get right into the story. Rap and street life. Over the years, the two kind of go hand in hand because fans of the rappers and the ones rapping the lyrics themselves want to live the lifestyle they are talking about in the music. So they won't be called fake. Over the last decade, we have lost a lot of talented artists due to rap beef. Two individuals going back and forth, dissing each other or one another's hoods or gangs, getting the people in their squad still in the streets, hit or locked up for hits, sending everybody crashing out, either in prison or with their lives. I thought the goal was to get on, put your people on, never forget where you come from, but get out the trenches and live life for all the ones that didn't make it. But at 35 years old, I guess I'm turning to an old head and getting kind of old school. It seems like the goal nowadays is not about the money, but street cred and bodies, being considered the realest and most gangster, instead of the richest and realest for uplifting your people and where you come from. And when beefs erupt between groups, unfortunately, everyone is in harm's way, even innocent bystanders. And on this episode of Hood Tales, we will be taking it to Dallas, Texas to discuss a case involving a rap beef that turned fatal for an innocent 9-year-old little girl. According to sources, and the old teacher of the young man, Tyrese Simmons was 19 years old back in 2019. And before he left school, was a good student that excelled and a talented basketball player with a bright future at Woodrow Wilson High School. But eventually, the young man's focus would shift to being a rapper and street activity in Dallas. 9-year-old Brandonaya Bennett was a bright-eyed little girl, excited by life, loved by her family and community in her old East Dallas apartments. Her nickname was Naya, or as her grandmother called her, everybody's chocolate drop. So how would 19-year-old Tyrese and 9-year-old Naya paths cross? According to sources, Tyrese was a local up-and-coming rapper with alleged gang ties. As his music was bubbling, another local rapper and Tyrese had some kind of beef, leading to them dissing each other in their music and on social media. The other rapper was allegedly a part of a rival gang, and the two young men didn't like each other at all. Allegedly, as the back and forth got more heated over the internet, Tyrese decided to pull up to confront the other rapper at the Roseland townhomes. He was mad about the diss tracks and social media exchanges. Allegedly, when Tyrese got to the apartment, he tried to get the rival rapper to come outside, knocking on doors, but no response. But instead of leaving, according to sources, Tyrese circled around the back of the apartments and thought he had the right address, up the blick, and opened fire at the spot before fleeing the scene. But the apartment belonged to the family of 9-year-old Naya. The young girl was sitting on the couch in her living room with only 1 week to go before starting school, and she was going to the 4th grade. She had just got home from getting her nails done when nearby neighbors heard the shots go off and screams from Naya's home. Her grandmother, who lived right across the street, ran over and saw Naya's mother sitting on the floor holding the child, as she had been shot in the head. Neighbors called police, who rushed into the apartment and ran out with the baby girl in an effort to save her life, with one officer screaming, "I got her," before putting her in the back of his patrol car. They were met by paramedics, who transported Naya to Baylor University Medical Center. Her family going in the hospital room, where unfortunately the baby girl would not survive. Her grandmother told the news Naya always liked to sleep in and often didn't want to wake up and would say, "Grandma, just 30 more minutes," and then get up. Her grandmother said she prayed for Naya to wake up one more time, but she never did. The community was in outrage as leaders spoke out for people to come forward. A name would eventually come up, 19-year-old Tyrese Simmons. Witnesses stated Tyrese came to the neighborhood and two groups argued as kids were told to go inside, and allegedly people heard Tyrese say I'll be back. I'ma add out. Not long after, shots went off. But his rival lived next door to Naya. It was the wrong home. Shot up. As police received more information about the rap beef, a warrant was put out for Tyrese. And as his face hit the news, the young man turned himself in to face capital murder charges. His bail was set for $500,000. It was prayers at the townhomes that had been a hot spot for over 4 murders over just a few months. A GoFundMe was made to lay the young angel to rest. As her family was left to grieve, another name will pop up in the case. Another young man named Devontae Benton. He was picked up a few weeks after the incident, and after police questioned the 19-year-old, he was also charged with capital murder as an alleged shooter. After authorities claimed to have had evidence, Devontae would do an interview with local news after being taken into custody. But the young man pleaded his innocence and claimed he wasn't involved in the situation at all. Even though both young men were both charged, they haven't been sentenced yet and are innocent until proven otherwise. Capital murder in Texas carries life in prison or the death sentence. Rest in peace to Brandon Naya. I send my deepest prayers and condolences to the family. With 2 young daughters myself, I couldn't imagine what they went through, all over words and rap beef. More of this story, beefing over music or words is not worth a life or doing life. A little girl is gone because of an emotional response over words and a wrong address. Senseless violence all over is taking our future right in front of us. Straight bullets hitting our kids and teens. And nobody want to open their eyes up to the genocides. Instead, people just want to be considered real or a savage. But is hunting your own people down considered real? I never knew that was the definition. So remember, we gotta succeed not to fail, so we won't be just another hood tale. Man, rest in peace, Naya. You know, I can't stress that enough. I can't even say rest in peace to that young lady because this was a child, 9 years old, getting ready to go to school 1 week before she started the 4th grade. And over words and rap beef, allegedly, these young men started blicking off at each other, or not even blicking off at each other. One young man decided he was so mad he just wanted to blick off at the other young man's house and hit the wrong house. You know, when people don't realize, man, when you pulling up and you shooting at homes and you shooting at houses, it ain't just the person you trying to hit inside the house. You got people that live with their parents. Like these little dudes, 19, 18, they live with their parents. They live with their grandmother. They got siblings. They got little sisters. But some people be so emotional and so like whatever that they don't even care who they hit. You see what I'm saying? They just feel like, oh, I'm mad, so somebody got to feel my pain. You feel me? But at the end of the day, man, like I said, we hitting innocent people. We taking the future right in front of our eyes. And people ain't thinking about it like that, man. But let me know what y'all think about this one in the comments, man. Rest in peace to that little girl. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you if you made it to the end of the video. This your boy Tony 2 times. This another episode of Hood Tales. Y'all already know it's all love, fam. I'm out. What's going on, YouTube, fam? This your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of Hood Tales, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For all the day one fam, welcome back. Y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Let's get right into the story. Growing up in certain environments made people get used to a certain way of life, whether right or wrong. For example, I remember being in groups when we was about 14 or 15 years old, and everybody had a blick on them. Whether they took it from home or broke in somebody's car to get it, either way, we had them. And back then, that seemed normal. Until I started going to different areas and realized people really don't live like this. It's easy to get sucked up in a cycle when you are around certain things. Walking out your front door to people hustling, your block might be beefing, so you are seeing or hearing shootouts every night. You might be a good kid who is trying to do right, but we all want to feel like we belong. So eventually, you jump off the porch and get right in the mix. You might start losing friends, and now you are out here trying to survive just like everybody else. But deep down inside, you want out and want to do more with your life. Unfortunately, some will never make it out. It breaks my heart when I hear about dudes losing their life at 17 or 18 years old. Because I know at that age, I didn't care about nothing. But you live, grow, and start to care and have things to live for. And as a young man coming up through all the obstacles of inner city life, the last thing we think of after escaping so many situations is that we will be killed over who we are in a relationship with. And on this episode of Hood Tales, we will be taking it to Staten Island, New York, to discuss a case of a young man trying to change his life who got caught up due to another man's jealous rage. According to sources, Lateef Dudley grew up in the Stapleton area of Staten Island. As a young man, he stayed out the way, but would become traumatized of all the deaths around him, from friends, family, or just people from around his neighborhood. The young man would try to navigate the streets the best way he knew how. Allegedly hanging around his way, he would end up affiliated with a group on the north side of the city that some would label as Bloods. But to Lateef, these were just friends he was growing up with. Eventually, he would have a child, a little boy. He instantly decided that was worth changing his life for the better. But we all know transitioning out the streets can be hard. And back in 2016, the young man was caught driving with a handgun and received some prison time. He was crushed to be away from his son and vowed not to never give his life away like that again, and to be a great man for his community and father to his son once he got released. Days after coming home from his bit, Lateef saw a man on a city bus wearing a shirt promoting the Staten Island outreach group Fatherhood Matters. He wanted to join the program to make up for the time he missed with his son, who was then 2 years old. And he did. Leaders of the group said when they met with the young man, he was focused on the mission. He barely even smiled. Lateef transition out of prison would be smooth. He worked hard to find a job and landed a gig at Amazon. He was volunteering for whatever he could to give back to his community and was providing for his son. Lateef was said to be one of the best guys in the dad group and was super ambitious. Fast forward, after being home for a minute, he would enroll in a program to be a dentist at St. Paul's School of Nursing. People close to Lateef said how he spoke about prison, told stories, and seemed so focused on doing right and never going back. Somewhere in the mix of this, the man being home for a minute, now 26 years old, and his son 4, Lateef started to see and date a young woman. Things seemed to be falling in place for the young man. He had kept his nose clean, staying out of trouble, kept steady work, and handling his business, and found someone he could vibe with. But the young lady had an ex at the time, a 44-year-old man named Arthur Williams, who did not like the fact she was moving on or that Lateef was around at all. The young man didn't really pay attention to her jealous ex and just brushed it off until he soon would realize Arthur was different and allegedly was stalking a new couple and made things real uncomfortable for Lateef. Watching how he moved, making threats to the point Lateef started to watch his back and looking over his shoulders. Now the same streets and activity he was working hard to fight against were coming at him over a relationship. Things would come to a head on February 20th, 2021. Arthur had made up his mind to confront Lateef. According to sources, the men saw each other and had a little dispute over the young lady. Lateef, who at the time was driving a 2016 Black Infiniti, eventually got in his whip, but wouldn't make it far before shots went off. As people fled, some saw what was going on and called police, but the car was reported as a motor vehicle accident on the 300 block of Van Duzer Street. As police arrived, they saw a black car crash into the back of another vehicle. Inside was a man who seemed to be suffering from multiple gunshot wounds to the torso. It was around 3:25 p.m. when the victim was rushed to Richmond University Medical Center in West Brighton, but unfortunately he was pronounced gone at 4:53 p.m. The man was later identified as 26-year-old Lateef Dudley. As the investigation started, NYPD didn't find any evidence of the shooting on the accident scene, but quickly determined Lateef was already hit in another location and drove there to try to get away into safety. It was found out he allegedly was shot in his chest about a mile away from the crash site on Osgood Avenue. 2 other people was also shot at a short distance away on the 100 block of Laurel Avenue. As NYPD talked to witnesses, they said a man opened fire on Lateef after an argument over a woman. The young man's family was heartbroken after hearing the news of his passing and how he worked so hard to change his life around and was a great father, loyal friend, and family member, to be all of a sudden gone over a situation. Police had a suspect, 44-year-old Arthur Williams, but the man wasn't nowhere to be found. A GoFundMe for Lateef was launched by his family, and weeks would go by without no one in custody. But eventually, Arthur was tracked down to Syracuse, upstate New York. He was picked up and charged with murder and other charges in a 25-count indictment. As the case made the trial, Lateef's mother spoke out, stating this was a senseless, clear case of jealous rage while her son was gone, and that he changed his life for the better just to have to look over his shoulder over a woman that he had just started dating. Arthur pled not guilty to the murder charges and took a plea deal of the lesser charge of manslaughter and was sentenced to 15 years in prison and 5 years supervised release probation. When asked did he want to address the family, the man stood up and stated, "I send my condolences to your family, son, brother, and cousin, but as I stand here today, it was either me or him." Then he quickly sat down. The judge stated it was a complicated case. I couldn't find any information regarding why Arthur only got manslaughter for the situation. Rest in peace to Lateef. I send my deepest condolences to his family. I hope they find peace in all of this. I'm not exactly sure why some men choose not to keep it player and let it go if a woman shows she blankly doesn't want you anymore and it's over. But to take a life over someone who doesn't want you is beyond me. Only thing I could think of is maybe she was playing both sides. Or maybe Arthur just couldn't move on. It's crazy Lateef went through all that and worked hard to stay out the way, to lose his life over a woman. I'm sure somebody somewhere is going through the same situation. And bro, or queen, let me tell you, if you gotta look over your shoulder and get threatened about a relationship, let it go. It's not worth it. Something is definitely not right if an ex has that much access. So remember, we gotta succeed not to fail, so we won't be just another hood tale. Man, crazy story, man. Rest in peace to Lateef. I send my prayers and condolences to his family. I really feel bad for his son, man, because at the end of the day, he seemed like he was a good father. That's what he was focused on out here trying to do the right things. They said before he passed away, he was planning a trip to Disney World to take his son. And I'm not sure why Arthur only got manslaughter. It might be a little deeper than we think, you know what I mean, maybe he tried to claim like self-defense or something like that. You know, they ain't had no information or nothing like that, man. But y'all already know, man. Leave it in the comments. This is another episode of Hood Tales. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. This your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out.